welcome back to the channel guys. Farm Sim Snowy here. So another day, we've got more mods. There is 18 today, so let's go and check them out. So first on the list today is this, which is the John Deere T-Series and 600X headers. This is by FD22. So obviously, as you can see, it's a harvester with two headers. So the harvester, first of all, is the T-Series, 263,500 base price. It's got varying horsepower, which we'll check in a second, and capacity, top speed of 24 miles per hour. This is 17 slots on console. Now we do have a T-Series, if I quickly show you in here, this guy. And if you do have it as the T560, it does work out a little bit cheaper than this base game one, which we'll look at in a second. That will all make sense in a minute. So the harvester, we have a few configurations. It's very cool looking, nice crisp detail, like so. So engine setup, we have the T550 at the minute, which is 305 horsepower. If we go to the 560, that is 387 horsepower. Now this is the same configuration as the base game one, so it is ever so slightly cheaper there. I think the other one was 285,000, so it's only a little bit cheaper. Also, the numbers on the side of the harvester do change depending on what sort of engine setup you've got, which is pretty cool. So yeah, the 560, that's 387 horsepower. 660 is also 387 horsepower, because if you look to the left, the capacity has changed. So the first two configurations, which are the lower sort of horsepower, was 10,000 litre capacity. Then we got the 387, that's 10,000, and then we do have a 387 horsepower that goes to 11,000 litre capacity now. And then we've got a T670, which is also 11,000 litre capacity, but that is 455 horsepower now. And then we go back to the T550. Wheel brand, we've got Trelleborg, Michelin. I'll come around this side because it's no ladder in the way. Michelin, BKT, Vederstein, back to Trelleborg. They're all the same in the setup. So we've got a standard wheel, wide tyres, crawler track 2, and then we're back to standard. So they're all going to be the same. It's just going to be slightly different sort of looking treads, etc. But you get the gist. Now, straw distribution width. We've got 5 meters, and we can go all the way up to, I think it was 12. Yes. So I tested this, and I was wondering if it was going to affect the actual straw swath itself, but it doesn't. It will only change if you've got straw swath disabled. So if you have it disabled, it kind of spreads these sort of bits of straw out the back. Doesn't put it in a swath. So you can just change that spread width. So you can have it a tighter sort of spread at 5 meters, and you can go all the way up to 12 meters, which will obviously spread it out that wide, which is pretty cool. But we all like a bit of straw, don't we, to collect. Pipe, we've got 5.2 meter, 5.6, 6.5, and then we've got 6.5 foldable, so you can just see the join there towards the end of the tip, and then it goes back down to 5.2. Then we have a license plate option as well if you wish. So that is the harvester. And then we have the two headers. So the first one is the 630X. That's 59,600 to buy. 8 slots if you're on console. 9.2 meters wide. And obviously it will run at 6 miles per hour. And you can harvest wheat, barley, oats, canola, soybeans and sorghum with that. Now, if I do press R3 for me, it says combinations down below. It will give you the sort of header trailer that you can use to transport those around, which is pretty cool. There is no options with any of them, but they are quite cool looking. We've got the model numbers there and the John Deere logos, all the sort of stickers on them. Very smart. And then we've got the 635X, which is a bit dearer, 69,700 to buy, 8 slots on console. This is 10.7 meters wide, and everything else is the same there. And again, no options, can't change anything on there, but pretty cool. So that is the first of the mods today. That is the John Deere T Series and 600X headers by GEFD25. And next up we've got these cool little fellas. This is the John Deere 6300 by SleutjesModding. These you'll find under small tractors. I didn't actually say, but it was pretty obvious. The harvester obviously you'll find under harvesters, and the headers you'll find under headers, under tools and headers. But these two you'll find under small tractors. Now there is two here. Basically you've got an open cab one and a closed cab with the glass. So we've got this fella here. This is 15,500 to buy. They both range between 100 and 105 horsepower. It's just the two configurations. They've both got a top speed of 19 miles per hour, but this cheaper one is 10 slots on console, and the dearer one is 11 slots on console. So we'll look at the open cab one first. So as I say, there's no glass on this one, as you can see. So we do have a cab on there, but there's just no glass or doors, etc. Now the configurations are all pretty much the same, but the closed cab one has one more design option, which is the glass, which we'll look at as well in a second. So I won't go through all the configurations again on the second one, but basically we've got configuration up the top, standard. We've got 240 kilogram front weight. Now if you start using the front weight configurations, I don't know if you notice, we do lose the front loader attacher option. So that disappears if you have the front weight configuration on. We've got a 240 kilogram front weight, a 400, a 560, and back to standard, and we get the front loader option back. Wheel brands, we've got Trelleborg, Michelin, Continental, Mitas, BKT, Vedestein, and back to Trelleborg. They are all slightly different as well. So in Trelleborg got standard, rim model 1, which basically if you look at the front rims on the wheels, they change if you do that. Then we've got front flat tyre and back to standard. In Michelin we've got wide tyres, rim model 2, which does that again, front flat tyre 2, wide tyres, and then we're back. Continental standard, rim model 2, model dual continental, which puts that rim on the front tyre again, and then front flat tyre 2, dual flat, back to standard. Mitas, we've got standard, rim model 2, front flat tyre 2, and back to standard. BKTs, we have got standard, rim model 2, front flat tyre 2, and back to standard. Vedestein's standard, rim model 2, dual rim model 1, dual rim model 2, which changes that at the front, dual front flat tyre 2. Now I don't understand why it says dual front flat tyre 2, because there is no duals. But if we do that, we've got dual flat, and then we're back to standard, and then we're back to Trelleborg. Design original, that I think was the exhaust. Yes, so if you look at the tip of the exhaust, it goes to exhaust chrome 1, and then chrome 2 does the whole exhaust. Then we've got exhaust flap, and back to original. Design, this I think is, if you just look at the green part on the inside of the wheel there, if we go design 1, that adds a set of weights. So if I go back to original, if you look on the left at the weight of the actual tractor itself, we're at 5.6 tons. So if I add one of them, it goes up to 5.8. Design 2 puts 2 of them on, puts the weight up again. and then Design 3 puts them on the outside like so. We can have more on the outside, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and back to original. So you can increase the weight of the tractor right up to 6.3 tons by putting all those guys on there. Front loader attacher, we've only got one option, and that is the John Deere one, like so. Pretty cool though. Or no. Engine setup, it's the 6300, which is 100 horsepower, or the 6405, which is 105 horsepower. So that is the only options there. Main colour is going to be your seat. So we've got original, black, grey, leather, which I think looks cool, and then John Deere green, which I'm not sure that really goes, but there you go. There's no license plate option at all, but that is a very cool older looking tractor. I like that. And then this guy, like I say, this is 20,500 base price. This was 11 slots, this one. So I won't go through everything else, but I think the second design was the windows. So you've got Design 1, Design 2 makes it slightly darker, 3 even darker, and 4 even darker, and then back to the original. Everything else is the same, like so. So I won't go through all of them. But there you go, that is a cool mod. I like that. I'm glad to see some older style looking equipment coming through. So that's the John Deere 6300 by SleutjesModding. Next up, we've got another small tractor. This is the Case Maxxum series by Schnibbl Modding and Redcat 3D. It is 112,000 base price. Varying horsepower, which we'll check out as usual. Top speed of 31 miles per hour, and this is going to be 17 slots if you're on console. So, a few configurations in this. It's very cool looking though. Nicely detailed as you'd expect. I like that. Nice, cool, small tractor. So, top one is the wheel brand. The menus are being a bit iffy again. So we've got Trelleborg, Michelin, Continental, Mitas, BKT, Vredestein, Nokians, and back to Trelleborg. In Trelleborg we've got standard, wheel weights, wide tyres, widen weights, narrow, rear twins, twins, and back to standard. Michelin we've got standard, wheel weights, wide tyres, widen weights, rear twins, twin wheels, and back to standard. Continental we've got standard, wheel weights, wide tyres, widen weights, narrow tyres, rear twin wheels, and back to standard. Mitas, it's just wide tyres and weights, and that's it. I think that's it, yeah. BKT, we've got standard, wheel weights, wide tyres, widen weights, rear twin wheels, and back to standard. Vredestein, got standard, wheel weights, wide tyres, widen weights, narrow tyres, rear twins, twin wheels, and back to standard. Nokians, we've got standard, communal, and back to standard, and then that should be back to Trelleborg. So quite a few different options there. Interior colour, at the minute we're on grey. If you look at the floor inside, we can then go grey and carpet, so it puts the carpet down there with the red trim round, which is quite cool. And then we've got beige, which again I like that, it's a nice colour interior. And then we can have beige and carpet as well, and then we're back to the standard grey. Beacon lights, we've got none. Left, right, left and right, or none again. Fender back, we've got small fender or broad, so it makes them a bit wider and it pushes the wheels out ever so slightly. And then back to small fender again. Front loader attacher, we've got no at the minute. We can have quickie, Hauer, and then back to no. And then we have the engine setup. So we're on the 115, which is 145 horsepower. 125, that's 155 horsepower. 169 horsepower. 175. And then we're back to 145. And obviously the numbers do change there depending on which one you select. Main colour. We've got some interesting options here. We've got the Case IH Red, which we're on now. We've got Black Edition. Grey. This is nice. 145 Years Edition. Look at that. Shiny, shiny. I like that. And then a Municipal one, which is just an orangey colour, like so. Then we've got the license plate option if you want to as well. Now you can open the door on this, you can open the sunroof, and you can open the rear window as animations. So that's pretty cool. I like that. That's a nice looking mod. So that is the Case Maxxum series by Schnibbl Modding and Red Cat 3D. Next up is the Joskin Drawbar 8600. This is by NicoPix. This you'll find under tools and trailers, because obviously it is a trailer. It is 59,000 to buy. It's got a varying capacity. It will pretty much hold everything by the looks of it. All the symbols down the bottom. 6 slots if you're on console. So, a few configurations. Up the top it says configuration. We're on standard. Oh, here we go. Let me come out and go back in. Did this to me earlier. So we're on standard. Then we can have extension. Now again, you lose the cover option if you have extension. So you cannot have a cover on this configuration with the extension. So it's just standard or extension. So obviously at the minute standard we're at 47,000 litre capacity. If we go extension, that bumps it up to 48,500 litres. We'll keep it on standard though for the cover. Wheel brand, we've got Trelleborg, Michelin, Nokians, BKT, Vredestein, and back to Trelleborg. Trelleborg we can change from standard to wide tyres. Michelin we can do the same, standard or wides. Nothing in Nokians, just those, or BKT. Vredestein we can change from standard to wide tyres. And then we're back to Trelleborg. So cover yes or no, like so. And then the main colour, you can see what that is going to change. We've got quite a few options there. Design colour, we'll do the panels. Let's go for something a bit random. And then the rim colours, again, pretty self-explanatory, like so. And we can have a license plate on this one as well. So it looks like it's a push trailer as well, judging by that little bit sticking out above the drawbar. So it'll push your load off instead of tipping by the look of it. Very cool. Nice looking mod that. So that is the Joskin Drawbar 8600 by NicoPix. And there's this fella, which is the Strautmann Tera-Vitesse FS2201. This is by Variofan 1987. This is a forage wagon or a loading wagon. It's 95,000 to buy. It requires 180 horsepower to run, which isn't too bad considering it is a 40,000 litre capacity. 5 slots if you're on console, and when you are picking things up it will run at 12 miles per hour. And this is for picking up grass, straw, silage, hay or chaff. Oh, menu is doing my head in. Wheel brand, we've got Trelleborg, Michelin, Vredestein, BKT, and back to Trelleborg. Can't change Trelleborg or Michelin. You can change Vredestein from standard to standard 2. BKT we can't change, and then we're back to Trelleborg. Design, we've got standard, or we've got metering rollers, so it puts those rollers in at the back there. So it'll just help unload your product, I should imagine, maybe a little bit quicker. As you can see, it changes that panel on the side as well, obviously to hold in the rollers in place. So silage additives tanks, we can have no, or we can add them to the front like so. Like I said before on other ones, if you have it in that configuration, it allows you to add silage additive, and it should increase your yield on certain things. So very cool. We can have a license plate option as well if we wish. So that is the Strautmann Tera-Vitesse CFS2201 by Vario Fan 1987. Next up is the Brantner DD240732XL. That's a bit of a mouthful. This is by Archimedes. This is a trailer, so you'll find it under tools and trailers. 39,650 to buy. Holds pretty much everything by the look of it. It is 6 slots on console. There's a few configurations we can do. So at the minute, this configuration at the top is on standard, so we're at 17,900 litre capacity. If we go across one, we put the extension on there, that takes it up to 25,500 litres. Then we can have a bale trailer, which puts it on 3-side sort of bale trailer. And then across again, that puts it on the opposite. And then we can have just sort of an open bale trailer if we want. And then we're back to standard again. Wheel brand, I don't think you can change any of them, but it's Continental, Trelleborg, Michelin, BKT, Vredestein, Continental and Trelleborg. Back to the start again. Cover, yes or no, like so. And then the main colour we can change to pretty much anything on there, like so. License plate option as well. It's going to be a swivel axle trailer at the front there. Pretty cool, nice looking mod. Another trailer. So that's the Brantner DD 24073/2XXL by Archimedes. Next on the list is this, or these should I say, the Amazon Catros 6002. This is by NicoPix. They are disc harrows, but there's two sort of slightly different versions. So first of all, let's look at the Catros, well, the basic one. They're both 39,000 to buy. So this is a disc harrow, so you'll find it under tools and disc harrows for this one. The second one is a bit slightly different. I'll tell you where you can find that. So this requires 180 horsepower to use. It's 5 slots on console, 6 meter wide, and it will run at 8 miles per hour when you're using it. There is no options on here apart from the license plate, but it is very cool, nicely detailed with all the labels and stickers on, and the little hose connectors. Very cool indeed. So that is that one, which is just a standard disc harrow. And then we've got this guy, which has the Vogelsang Sing Cut attached to it. So this is going to be for attaching onto a slurry tanker. So again, down the bottom where it says combinations, if I press R3 for me, it then tells me I can use these two guys with this. So you can hook it up to that and distribute your slurry and sort of disc harrow at the same time, I should imagine. So this also requires 180 horsepower to use, 5 slots, 6 meters again, everything's the same. And again, no configurations, but you can see it's slightly different there to be attached to the slurry tank. Pretty cool. So there you go, that is the Amazon Catros 6002 by NicoPix. And there's this little fella, the Lizard Z525. This is by Querty, Puszkap and Consi. This is a Tedder, 6,000 to buy. Requires 34 horsepower, so not very high at all. It's only 2 slots as well on console. It's only 2.7 meters wide, and it will run at 9 miles per hour when you're using it. But it's very cool. I'm so pleased to be seeing sort of older looking, smaller machinery and implements like this, because it's going to come very handy when we get some smaller sort of maps with smaller fields. Looking forward to doing another series like that, like I did with Klein's Land. So, configurations. We've got wheels, normal, wheels with tyre, and then back to normal. Main colour we can change, which is obviously going to change that. There's some really sort of old looking colours on here, so you could really make this, you know, look quite vintage, which is very cool and interesting. And that is going to do those bits. So yeah, that looks a bit weird and random, but just showing you as an example. But that's pretty cool, I like that. That's the Lizard Z525 by Querty, Puszkap and Consi. Next on the list for today is this implement mover for skid steer loaders. This is by EY-Modding. So this will basically hook up to your skid steer, and you can move implements around instead of using a tractor. So instead of using the tractor to hook up to them and move them around, you can just use this. So I'm not too sure about this one, but it might come in handy for some people. This you'll find under tools and skid steer loader tools. It's 900 to buy. It's only one slot on console, and it looks like this. As you can see, it's got the 3-point sort of hitch on it. So say for instance you had a cultivator, little cultivator you wanted to move. Instead of getting your tractor over, it could be busy out on the field with a worker. You just hook this up to your skid steer loader, come over, hook up to the cultivator and move it around wherever you want it. So I guess it is quite handy actually. I'm not knocking it. I don't knock any of the mods at all, because I wouldn't even know where to start to do anything like this. But the main colour we can change from, or not from, to anything on this palette. I don't know why I chose pink, but it is what it is. There you go. So that's quite cool. Could be useful. It's the implement mover for skid steer loaders by EY-Modding. And then we've got these, which are also a bit random and interesting. I've not tested these, so whether they do work like they say on the mod hub description. But this is adjustable drawbar pack. This is by EY-Modding. You can find these under tools and under miscellaneous. Basically it says in the mod hub description, it's probably easier to read this instead of trying to bumble around explain it myself. It says how to use in real life. Two-wheel drive tractors struggle on slippery ground when towing a heavy trailer. This tool is used to apply force upwards from the bottom of the trailer's drawbar. In this way, some of the trailer's weight is transmitted to the rear wheels of the two-wheel drive tractor. As a result, the coefficient of friction of the rear tyres increases and the possibility of skidding decreases. So basically what it's saying is it will push the drawbar sort of up and down, and it will put more weight on the back of the rear wheels, because on some of the pictures on the mod hub there is a couple of tractors doing wheelies, so you could expect to do some wheelies if you're using this in your tractors, because basically it's pushing down on those rear wheels and trying to give you more traction. So first of all, we've got the drawbar round. They're both 100 to buy. I think they're both one slot, yes. And this one's a bit more like a rolling pin, hence the round. You can change the main colour on both of them to anything to match them up to your tractors and implements. And then we've got the drawbar square, which is a more flatter one. Again, we can change the colours like so. So there you go, that is that one. That is the adjustable drawbar pack by EY Modding. And then there is these. This is Buyable Products, and this is by Jelonek. Not seen that name come up before. Jelonek. These are pallets of sugar, flour, butter or raisins. They're all 500 to buy. They're all 1,000 litres capacity, and they are all 2 slots on console. So I guess you could use these if you were trying to speed up the process of your production chain, if you're missing an ingredient or you aren't able to produce that certain ingredient to make something, if it makes sense that. So if you're trying to produce cakes and you're after some butter pretty quick, you could buy these. So it's a pretty good idea, I guess. But they come like that. There's obviously no configurations. You'll find these under objects and pallets, but they do look quite cool, nicely detailed with all the writing on. I think they're pretty much the standard base game ones, what they look like. But there you go, they could be quite useful. That is the Buyable Products by Jelonek. And then we've got even more pallets. So again, these you'll find under objects and pallets, all of these. There is pallets first, and there is single bags. They're all varying in prices. I won't go through the prices with you, but the pallets hold 10,000, hold 1,050 litres. They're all 2 slots. And I think these single bags hold 50 litres. I think they're 1 slot on console. So obviously varying in prices. Again, you can't change anything. They are what they are. But they're pretty cool. You can clearly see what each one is. So if you had a load, you're going to easily identify what they are in your yard. So we've got a seeds, a solid fertiliser, a lime, a wheat, pig food, oat, road salt, manure, mineral feed, and then we're on to the single bags like so. Exactly the same order: seeds, solid fertilizer, lime, wheat, pig food, oat, road salt, manure and mineral feed. So pretty cool. Gives you a few options like so. So that is the package of premium pallets and bags by Happy Mole. I didn't say who that was, but that is by Happy Mole. And then there's this guy. This is the AGGRO SD6. This is by Vertex Dezign. This is shown as an update, and that update is console release. So this will be new for us console players. PC players will obviously probably have seen this somewhere along the line. But it is a small subsoiler. It's 10,500 to buy. Requires 120 horsepower to run, 4 slots on console, 2.5 metre wide and a working speed of 7 miles per hour. There is no options. It is what it is, but it's very cool looking with all the hydraulic rams and the pipes. See all the bolts there and the pins and everything. Very cool. I like the look of that. So that's the AGGRO SD6 and by Vertex Dezign. Now the next one I'm going to show you is kind of an invisible one, so there's nothing I can actually show you, and it is the Auger Wagon with lime. And basically if you have that installed, it says it will add lime and pig food to all Auger Wagons. It also says, in addition, trains can now transport everything that normal trailers can also transport. So that could be very, very handy. So if we go up to tools and Auger Wagons, we should have, and there you go, down the bottom, pig food and lime symbol appearing on all of these. Not these two, obviously, or these last few, because they are specific to those crops. But the sort of standard Auger Wagons, as you can see, pig food and line symbol added to that. Pretty cool. So that was the Auger Wagon with Lime mod by TF2020 Mods. Next up, we got these. This is Buyable Large Stack of Bales by MechMods. Basically, this gives you the option to buy either square or round bales of either grass, hay, straw or silage. They're obviously varying in prices. So we click on one, you can actually buy from 1 right up to 30 bales at a time. It does say on the description in the mod hub, the more you buy, the more discount you get. So obviously if you buy in bulk, you will save some money. So yeah, pretty cool. And obviously there's all the square ones, and then we move on to the round ones. And again, you can go from 1 right up to 30, however many you wish, like so. So pretty cool if you're after some quick bales and want to save a bit of money at the same time. So that is Buyable Large Stack of Bales by MechMods. And now for the outside bit. My favourite bit. I don't like it stuck in that shop. It's a bit stuffy. This is Aunt Emma Shop. This is by LSMT modding team Stefan. This is a sell point. Pretty, well, not pretty, very cool, nicely detailed. Got some steps here that we can go up. Nice seating area. So it's obviously some sort of cafe. Not quite sure who Aunt Emma is though, but she owns that, I guess. Round the back is going to be your sell point, so you'd put up here, sell whatever you're going to sell, tip in there. And you can sell here. Let me just read on the description. You can sell flour, sunflower oil, canola oil, olive oil, cheese, tomato, lettuce, strawberry, grape juice, egg, sugar, cake, bread, potato, milk, olive and road salt. So quite a few, options there. This you'll find under your build mode. It is under production and selling points, and it's there right at the end. I'll zoom out. It's 40,000 to buy. And as you can see, all the items you can sell are scrolling across the screen even. It's 13 slots to place down if you're on console. There's nothing sort of special about it. You just do that and spin it round, place it wherever you want, like so. So that is pretty much it. That is Aunt Emma Shop by LSMT modding team Stefan. And then moving on from there, we have got this. This is, I'm still on that page, bear with me, Metal Shed. This is by Camelos 0397. Obviously is a shed to store your machinery and equipment. Very nicely detailed again. I do like all the little sort of bricks and rubble. It's obviously covering up that drain, I would imagine, coming down there. A bit of tarpaulin and a brush, boxes. It's very cool. There's no lights on here, but it's pretty open. You've got that end open there, so you've got plenty of air coming through. Bucket round the side there. Very, very cool that. I like that. This again you'll find under your build mode. This will be under buildings and sheds. And it is there at the end. It's only 13,000 to buy, so not too expensive. This is 12 slots as well if you're on console. And again, nothing special really. What I mean by that is some of the buildings you can change the colours of things. But it is what it is, like that. And also, I do normally forget to mention, if you're not aware, we have got the toggle free mode now, which is probably more useful to us console players, because PC have normally had the place anywhere mod. But if I press triangle, because I'm on PlayStation, that then allows me to go right up to this shed if I wanted to. Whereas if I toggle that back off, it will now give me a warning if I get too near. Can actually get quite close to that actually, as it is. But there you go. That is just pointing out something that I guess most of you guys will know, but some people still don't know about it because I've seen comments on Facebook. But that is a Metal Shed by Camelos 0397. And then moving on to this fella, I think this is an awesome idea. Very, very cool. This is Toolbox by Schultz or SleutjesModding. Basically, it is a vehicle workshop, but the beauty about this thing is we can pick it up and take it wherever we want. Now, it does say on the Mod Hub description that it obviously must be placed facing up like that, handle facing up, and where these latches are, where you open the toolbox, you need to park your sort of vehicle or implements outside there, so it has to be this side, not this side. So whatever side your latches are, that is where you need to be. And if you look at the help menu, if I come up, it says workshop, open vehicle, and it works just the same. So what's pretty cool about this, I've got a tractor over there. I don't need to bring the tractor to this. Let's bring the toolbox to the tractor. There we go. Have some of that. Do that. Voila. Tractor is there. That is awesome. I think that is very, very cool. I think a lot of people are going to be using that, and very pleased with that. I mean, you could just chuck that in the back of your pickup, run out to the field, repair your harvester if it's in a bit of bad shape. I think that's very, very cool idea, that. Probably my favourite mod of the day, actually, putting it out there. So, that is it. I think that is all of them. That was Toolbox by SleutjesModding. Apologies if I said that wrong. That is the last one of the day. So I hope you have all enjoyed the mod review. If you have, please give us a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, then please do. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos of mine. I've been Farm Sim Snowy. Stay frosty.